From the American Museum of Natural History in New York City, and beaming out across all of space and time, this is StarTalk, where science and pop culture collide. Welcome to the Hall of the Universe. Right here in New York City, I am Neil deGrasse Tyson, your personal astrophysicist, and tonight we are featuring my interview with the one, the only, the American legend, the hero, Buzz Aldrin. Buzz Aldrin, pilot of the Apollo 11 mission to the moon. So let's do this. I never do this alone. And I've got my professional comedian co-host, Eliza Schlesinger.
Thank you
Eliza,
for having me.
welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome. And I also have a person who's actually been into space, the one and only Mike Massimino. Mike, welcome back to StarTalk.
Great to be here.
And Mike Massimino, you're one of my favorite astronauts ever because you helped to fix the Hubble Space Telescope.
I did.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's not, and
Come on.
And you were not only just one of the many missions that fixed it, you were on the last mission to fix it.
That's right.
And that's the one that was at highest risk of failure.
Right. Since we were the last ones, there was no one else to clean up our mess. We had to get it right.
After you fixed it, did you walk off like, I fixed it good?
Yeah.
No, wait. It was Elijah was more like, I hope I fixed it good. and now apparently what Neil's saying, it does work. So
Yeah, it works.
There
It
you
works.
go.
it's been working.
Yes, it's our people. I got full reports. You did a good job.
Thank you. Good
Yeah.
to hear.
So Buzz Aldrin came through town, and I just had to nab him for an interview. He and I go way back, so it was a friendly, like old times. And so he came to my office, and I wanted to know, how did he become the guy to go to the moon? Not every astronaut goes to the moon. Not every person becomes an astronaut. So let's check it out.
I was in the same squadron with Ed White, supersonic F-100s in Germany.
Ed White, who was on Apollo 1.
That's right.
Lost him.
And he left, he got me in the squadron, then he left and went through the test pilot school. That qualified him to be testing airplanes. So a little later, he called me up and said, in '62, now I'm at MIT, and he says, NASA's looking for another group of astronauts, and I'm qualified. And I think I'll apply.
Another group after the Mercury 7.
That's right. The first one's after that second. And I said, Ed, I can shoot gunnery better than you can. And besides that, I'm studying for my doctor's degree here, and I've decided to join up things in space.
Docking.
No,
Not docking.
you can't dock until you rendezvous. You gotta launch, you gotta make a couple of maneuvers, then you can rendezvous. It's like a fighter pilot shooting down the other guy.
Two moving bodies that have to intersect. Yes.
This is bringing one on what you would like to be a perfect trajectory, because you've looked at it and it's just the one.
You studied that.
I did it.
Oh,
I did it
Sorry.
before
So-
and after shooting down a couple of MiGs in Korea.
So, Mike, how many MiGs did you shoot down before you became an astronaut?
0.
So
yeah,
we got a
no.
little slice of the right stuff.
Yeah, that's
there.
a little bit. That's a different. Yeah.
So he was in the Korean War, shot
Right.
down MiGs.
Yeah.
And he's born in 1930, so that would have been the age
Yeah.
in that era to do that.
Right.
And so here we are drawing from this population
Right.
to represent us in space.
Yeah, and back then they were all military test pilots.
Yeah.
And when the shuttle era came in 1978, they had a group of astronauts. There were still the military test pilots, but you had the first astronauts of color, the first women who were astronauts, and you had a lot of scientists and engineers. We still have military people, we still have test pilots, but we also have you know, guys, men and women like me who are academics.
Academic.
And
you have a PhD in engineering.
Correct, a PhD in engineering, and we have medical doctors and scientists and people from all.
So Buzz, you know, he landed on. It was the first mission to land on the moon.
Yeah.
Second to walk on the
Amazing,
moon.
yes.
He had his PhD by then.
And it seems he got a gold ring for each one of those accomplishments.
He's blinged out.
He's got a
Wearing
lot
more
of
rings than I am.
My boy is bling. Okay.
Yeah, he's big on the
Okay.
jewel. That was just a sample, I think.
was a lot- yeah.
that
Okay,
wasn't
so
all
It
of
was
it.
a trunk
You didn't
show.
see his feet. I mean, he's got a lot of stuff going on.
So he was also the first to train underwater to simulate weightlessness.
That was his idea, actually. He was a scuba diver, and before his spacewalking adventure, his mission in Gemini, they had trouble spacewalking on the Gemini missions. And Gene Cernan ended up being the last person on the moon during his spacewalk on the Gemini missions. He fogged over his helmet and had trouble getting back inside. And they didn't really have a way to. It's interesting to hear these guys talk about how to spacewalk. Then they just were just winging it. And Buzz was the first guy to put some science and engineering behind it.
And he
part
set a
of it was
record at
training
the time.
in the water.
He
Yes.
spacewalked for 5.5 hours.
Yeah, he had all kinds. He had things like restraints and handrails and how to use your tethers and how to train for it.
So he thought
that
about
was
it.
really. He is a
He's an
smart
academic.
guy. He really is.
He said, "I don't know how this works. Let me figure it out."
Right, and he came up with that idea. Buzz did.
And as we've said before, he's recently written a book collecting his most profound moments in space. So I asked him about them. Check it out. What's your favorite story that you tell in here that you want the public to know?
First guy to pee in his pants on the moon.
I was going to ask you about that because I have kids come up to me, how do the astronauts poop and pee? So, because I looked inside the command module of the Apollo command module, there's no restroom that you get up and go to.
You know,
That's the
Alan
big question.
Shepard's flight was going to be a pretty short one. So he was supposed to go out there, get in this Mercury, first American, suborbital. And the launch countdown didn't quite go the way it was expected. There was delay. And Alan's lying on his back. Pretty soon it's getting pretty damp there. And that's when they figured we gotta do something. We gotta have a little bit better hydraulic engineering into the spacesuit and the rest of it.
So what they call it, hydraulic engineering.
The UCD, very important, urine collection device.
Okay.
And the UCD.
Somehow I thought those words would be bigger. It's a pee collection device. That's all it is.
Dumped overboard, and it freezes meat.
Instantly, yeah.
And they're flakes.
But doesn't the pee
They're
stay?
flakes outside.
Wait. The pee is moving the same speed as your ship.
Of course it would.
Right. So if you put it outside, now the pee is frozen pee is traveling alongside with you to the moon.
Scott Carpenter saw a lot of those fireflies. And he was so fascinated with them that he wasn't quite lined up for retrofire. He got the cosine of it, which is, enough. But there was a little bit of the sine of the angle that he's off. That's why he landed
In the wrong place.
not where he was supposed to
Right.
go.
But the fireflies, are you telling me that was his pee?
Yeah, it was a urine dump.
Okay.
Yeah.
The mysterious fireflies.
Well, but there was a little hesitancy about people getting their jewel too close to what was going to go to a vacuum, like they might get sucked outside.
So we have to ask, Mike,
Yes.
have you ever peed in your pants in space?
Yes. We didn't call it the UCD. We called it the MAG,
The mag?
the Maximum Absorbency Garment.
Oh,
It was a diaper.
diaper.
Yes. We wore a diaper on launch and entry and while spacewalking. And then when you're inside the spacecraft, you use the toilet.
Okay, so where does the pee go if you do it in the spacecraft?
In the spacecraft, it's collected and then dumped, as he described. And you would want to see the urine dump was cool, because you would dump it and it would crystallize and the sun would shine on it, and it was really
Beautiful.
fun. It was something.
I can't believe I'm having a conversation.
Yeah.
A beautiful frozen pea in
A
space.
urine dump.
Yeah.
Hey, everybody, it's a urine dump. Hey, it's a urine dump. And we, before you hit the switch, everyone go to the window and watch. That's it.
So you're telling me your pea was orbiting the Earth?
Apparently, yes. I never thought of it that way, but yes, for a little bit until it crystallized, it kind of disappears.
No, then it would re-enter the atmosphere. Yes.
Well.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, yes. I
That's
peed
the
on
physics of it.
everybody.
You peed on Earth.
Yes,
Oh my
so.
God.
Now the secret's out. That's it.
More of my interview with American national Earth hero Buzz Aldrin when StarTalk continues. Welcome back to StarTalk. We're here at the American Museum of Natural History in New York City, and tonight's show is all about the legacy of the Apollo program, and we are featuring my interview with the one and the only Apollo 11 pilot, Buzz Aldrin. Let's check it out. You're sitting on top of the Saturn V, okay? Ready to go to the moon. Does your mortality matter to you at that point? That you're sitting on this 32-story controlled explosion?
Probably over pretty quick.
That would be for sure. Or because many of you guys were fighter pilots and test pilots, the idea that you're putting your life at risk for some piece of machinery was not a new concern of yours.
Everything that NASA did had a reliability to it, and it ended up 95% you guys are going to come back safely. We're pretty happy with that, really. But what was the chance before we lift off of being everything to go all right and not have to abort and safely landing? Nobody was going to come up with that number, but the three of us did. 60% is what we settled on.
This is you,
And we landed
Neil Armstrong,
6 out of 7
Michael Collins.
times. Yeah.
So if, I don't mean to get morbid on you, but if you had died on the moon,
Yeah.
were we ready for that here in America, here on Earth?
Every president, they have a speechwriter, a staff, and the staff writer to the president would, of course, prepare in the event some disaster unfolded, like Challenger accident. And it's not surprising me at all that one would do that. But it kind of, it not shocks, but it brings people into the reality.
So I have some of those words that were prepared in case Buzz Aldrin and Neil Armstrong would be stranded on the moon, still alive, but we would know they would ultimately die. These words were written for President Nixon, and he never had to read them, but they exist and they are in his presidential archives. Fate has ordained that the men who went to the moon to explore in peace will stay on the moon to rest in peace.
Oh my God.
These brave men, Neil Armstrong and Edwin Aldrin, know that there is no hope for their recovery, but they also know that there is hope for mankind in their sacrifice. These two men are laying down their lives in mankind's most noble goal, the search for truth and understanding. That's creepy, but beautiful.
When those guys were coming back, they had another launch to go through to get off the moon. That's why they were talking about them staying on the moon. That rocket did not work on the moon. They were stuck.
Yeah.
And I think if they were not successful, I think we would have continued. And we talk about that even with the shuttle accidents. I remember after we had Challenger, I became an astronaut after that, and before the second mission, we said, oh, if you have an accident, it's going to end the program. And it didn't. We had another accident, and we kept going.
And
that's part of it.
It's American spirit.
And in your particular case, you were on a dangerous shuttle mission. We didn't have a backup mission to save you.
That's right.
And you did this knowing you were at risk of death. And you did this for we, the astrophysicists, to fix our telescope. So I have to assume the answer to this next question is yes, but I need you on record to say so. Was it worth the risk?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yes, it was.
We got it. We got Well, thank you, because I don't know how many people, even in my astrophysics community, who would have had enough of the right stuff to even have fixed our own damn telescope. So thank you. And because you're not an astrophysicist.
You're welcome. It gave me something to do. The telescope, I think, is a great example of how engineers and scientists kind of work together. I enjoyed fixing it. You guys look through it, and it's a very nice relationship.
So now you're up in orbit, low Earth orbit, 350 miles up, but Buzz is one of 12 people to have been to the moon. And I had to ask him about that unique perspective, the perspective of setting your foot on something other than Earth. Let's check it out. We always hear about astronauts, human beings who have gone into space and they've come back in some other mental perspective. Are you in another state of mind?
It's called the overview.
The overview.
Yeah.
You can have an overview effect just being in orbit.
Yeah.
And then for the 9 missions that left Earth orbit to go to the moon, you now see Earth receding in the distance. That's gotta affect you in some way. That's home getting smaller.
You know, we'd be in trouble if it got bigger.
Okay.
That's going to happen later on.
Later on, you want that on the backside of this.
Yeah,
right?
you gotta put things.
Okay, all right. So you expect it to get smaller. It's getting smaller. All is fine.
Yeah.
Okay, I hadn't thought about it that way. Okay. So he's not known for being sentimental. You know, he's just very matter of fact. And in fact, there's a famous photo of him saluting the flag on the moon. He's quoted in his book as saying, when he saluted the flag on the moon, he's not given to emotionalism, but in that moment, patriotism and love of country overwhelmed him.
Wow.
And this is at a time where we're at war with the, at Cold War with the Russians, and there's American flag is there. And so did you feel nationalistic, patriotic like that?
Yes, certainly I did. I was very proud to have an American flag on my left shoulder. And when I was spacewalking, and it's a lot of national pride. We live in a great country. And I think all astronauts go as representatives of lots of things, the neighborhoods they came from, the schools they went to, and certainly the countries they're from. So,
was there ever a moment where you had to sort of override what would have been a natural emotion to take care of some other task?
Yeah, you kind of have to keep things in check. And a lot, for me, a lot of it was, the emotional part of it really didn't come out until I got back. And you start thinking about what you did, and then the emotions allowed to escape. So I got very emotional, really, the day after I got back. I was thinking about stuff. You kind of hold it in.
Because you're completely human. This is encouraging.
Yeah.
It probably takes you a while to process that.
Yeah, it is. I remember getting back and just, and you start thinking about what you did, and it really, you're allowed then to release at that point. And that's the way it affected me. But yeah, you try to keep it in check. I think the joyful emotion, that's a good thing. Yeah, but the other side of it, not panicking, when things are going wrong, that's really important, because you're just going to make it worse. So
cool. Well, up next, after the commercial break, our man about town, Chuck Nice, goes into the public and explores what people know or do not know about the moon landing when StarTalk returns. We're back on StarTalk. We're talking about Buzz Aldrin's historic trip to the moon. And before we get back to my clips of him, let's go to our man in the street, Chuck Nice, to see what the public thinks about the moon voyages. Check it out.
That's right, Neil. We're here on the streets of New York City to find out what people think about the legacy of the moon landing. Did we even really go? Let's find out. Do you believe we landed on the moon, or do you think it was a hoax?
I believe we landed on the moon.
Why?
There's pictures.
We landed. I mean, I wasn't there, but...
Right, but you know that we landed.
I think so.
Do you believe in Bigfoot?
No.
Thank God.
I don't think that was a hoax. That definitely happened. I don't see how it couldn't have.
What if the Earth is a hoax, but the moon is real?
Now see that? I like the way you think. Did you ever want to be an astronaut when you were a kid?
Sure. Didn't everybody back in my age? I mean, I was born in 1954.
Okay.
So I grew up in the 60s when all that stuff was happening.
Right.
And at least at some point, every kid wanted to be an astronaut at that time.
And what did you end up being?
A banker.
So much better. Moon people! Where are my moon people? So Buzz Aldrin estimated that there was a 60% chance that he would get to the moon and back safely. Would you take those odds?
Hell no.
God, no.
No!
I want to say yes, but
Yeah.
when you're asking me and thinking about my own personality, when I
Right.
was a banker, no.
Man has set foot upon the moon. Where should we go next?
Everybody wants to go to Mars.
Like Vulcan land.
Vulcan, the planet Vulcan.
Mars is a good destination. I have to say, though, if we had developed the sensing technology that we have now, like in my cell phone and all of the advanced ways to see and perceive and learn before we had developed all the rockets back in the early 60s, he might never have gone to the moon.
Really?
Because back in the day, if you wanted to learn what was happening in outer space, you
Couldn't
had-
send a robot.
couldn't. You had
Right.
to send a human being.
Send a human being. Now we can send robots.
Or tiny
Or
stuff.
tiny stuff.
Tiny stuff.
So,
You got it.
right, so actually technological advancement may have precluded Buzz Aldrin from ever reaching the moon.
You're the man. You understand.
I'm right. Science!
So I'm happy to report that this set of random New Yorkers in Washington Square Park, none of them were in denial of the moon landing,
Good thing.
as so many people are.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm happy about that. Happy to report, my fellow New Yorkers, we got it.
Educated city.
So the lunar module, as it landed, had a name, Eagle. The Eagle has landed. This detaches from the command module. That's the one. This is the thing with the spider legs, which will take them down to the lunar surface and bring them back. And landing on the moon has no air, so you can't use air resistance to buoy your landing. They need fuel to slow down so they don't crash, and you need fuel to lift off and return. All of this has to happen. And so these different command modules, each one had a different command module, and it wasn't obvious which one would be the first, what criteria was being used depending on the needs of the mission. And so I asked Buzz Aldrin about how his lander became the one chosen for Apollo 11. Let's check it out.
The lunar modules are coming off the production line, and they're not assigning crews yet because we haven't quite got there. But the crew shake up because different things. A lander wasn't ready, and Russians were gonna maybe fly around the moon with a guy instead of just empty. We figured they were gonna put a cosmonaut in there. So we accelerated Apollo 8. Anyway, the landers coming off the production line were heavy at first. And the first one that was going to be light enough was going to be LEM 6. And it worked out to be Apollo 12 in mid-October. All right, now the manager of LEM 5,
That's your LEM,
yeah,
Lunar Excursion
he
Module.
wanted his to land. And he went to George Lowe, the Apollo program head, and he said, George, if I get the weight down, will you guarantee that my lander will be a landing mission? George Lowe, head of Apollo program, says, well, of course, I would like to have another chance, an earlier chance to land. So he went ahead, and LEM 5 became qualified, and we landed instead of Pete Conrad being the first on the moon.
I did not know this until he told me that. I did not know that Apollo 12 was scheduled to be the first moon landing. with Pete Conrad, the first to step off the LEM. Because that would have been the LEM light enough to be served by the limit of the fuel available to send it back and complete the mission. So someone worked on their LEM and slipped them in ahead. That's
Amazing. I
Gangster.
didn't know that either.
It's gangster.
What I gotta do to make my LEM land first?
Yeah, that's so gangster.
Number 20. Yeah.
That's right. And of course, what's hurrying this along is that we have a space race with the Soviet Union. And I don't know how much people remember about that. Maybe some old timers do, but others, maybe you learned about it in a book. But we were in Cold War with the Soviet Union. There it was, okay? And in that Cold War, we're building up our weapons arsenal. And one kind of weapon, which is particularly potent, is the intercontinental ballistic missile. So this is a missile you launch, and it leaves the atmosphere of the Earth, and it travels most of its distance suborbital, then comes out of the atmosphere and lands. And you would load them with nuclear warheads, and it can go between any 2 points on Earth within 45 minutes. You could not evacuate a city in time, because suborbital gets you halfway around the Earth in 45 minutes. And so here's what happens, just in case you don't know. October 4th, 1957, Russia launches Sputnik, and you read normal accounts of it. Oh, it's the first space satellite. Okay, that's cool. It starts the space race. Why did we freak out? Because that was in a hollowed out shell of an intercontinental ballistic missile. If they could fly a satellite that went beep beep over our head, that was the writing on the wall. That was, they can send anything over our head. And we went ballistic. And we, so a year and a day later, I'm born, but that's beside the point. A year later, that week, the week I was born, NASA is founded. Wow. And that births our participation in the space race. So then we actually launched the race to the moon with JFK's speech, because Russia beat us in almost everything else, and he thinks maybe we could beat them in getting to the moon. So we launched that. So that's the story in a nutshell. And we have the Mercury program, the Gemini program. Mercury holds 1 astronaut, Gemini holds 2, Gemini twins, of course. Apollo holds 3, and there you have it. But during that Apollo era, we were spending more than 4% of the federal budget on going into space. Now it's 1/2% of the federal budget. So the valuation is way lower. But we did manage to do other things. We had Skylab, we had the Apollo Soyuz. The Soyuz is the Russian capsule. They connected, remember that?
Yep.
And of course the space station. Did you ever get to the space station?
I've never been to the space station.
Oh, you have to go.
Really?
Must go.
Why? What's it like?
Go in the spring.
How's the food?
It's amazing. Everything's fresh.
Good service? Yeah.
So coming up after the break, more of my interview with Moonwalker National Treasure, Buzz Aldrin, when StarTalk continues. We're back on StarTalk here at the Rose Center for Earth and Space. And we're talking about the historic mission to put a man on the moon. And back then, in the age of Apollo, great risks were taken for great rewards. And I wondered, today, is that same risk-reward ratio still in effect? And I asked Apollo 11 pilot Buzz Aldrin all about it. Let's check it out. We're in a culture now where everyone is afraid to make a mistake, because something goes wrong and then somebody has to hand out blame. And I worry that we live in a time very different from when I grew up, when we're sending you to the moon, where we're not going to discover anything because people are gun shy, exploration shy, risk.
There's an engineer who's made kind of a specialty of really analyzing how much it costs us to be so sure that something won't fail. We spend so much money to do that.
We spend money to not fail.
Lots? Oh, yeah.
Not realizing the value of failure in the first place. So maybe NASA needs a skunk works. They need a
Well, we got one. Down in Florida.
What?
You know, they got alligators and stuff. but this is Kennedy Space Center. And they have a
So if your launch fails,
No, they
you
got
get eaten by alligator.
There's
Okay,
a
so-
swamp works, okay? Down where the alligators are, swamps. And they are getting into some,
So this is real.
absolutely.
You know, I didn't know about the swamp works. Well, one of Buzz's favorite quotes is a variant on the one we all learned from the Apollo 13 movie.
Failure is not an option.
Failure is not an option. And Buzz has a different take on that. In his book, he says, nope, failure is always an option. One of the lessons he describes in that book, because if failure is not an option, then you're at risk of being too safe. And in fact, Lockheed Martin and the Pentagon and others had gotten together. So they had what was called the Skunk Works, where they would design advanced aviation elements. And out of that came things like stealth and very high speed craft, you know, high Mach number, multiple times the speed of sound. And in that group, they had very little oversight, very little management telling them what bottom line to match. And only then did I just learn that NASA has that. I'm ashamed, I didn't know this. The Swamp Works, did you know about the Swamp Works?
You know, I had a student a couple years ago that had a summer internship there, so I learned about it through him. Yeah.
Do you remember what stuff they were doing?
They were doing some really cool robotic stuff, some like cutting edge, cool robotic stuff that this student was.
Without some manager coming over say you got to make the bottom line.
I think that was the idea. Do some exciting stuff.
It's a think tank.
Yeah, think tank. But they're doing more than just thinking. Yes.
It's a build tank.
They're doing, yeah, thank you. It's a build.
It's an explosion tank.
It's a do tank.
Yeah.
It's a do tank. And getting back to the buzz and the risk, here's something interesting. If you don't know what you're risking your life for, why risk it at all?
It's a good point. Yeah, if you don't have a defined goal.
We'll just go in space, I don't know where,
Yeah.
I don't know, and then you put your life at risk. What's that about?
Yeah, it's not really a great idea, actually. And part of the reason as astronauts were willing to take that risk, you talked about Hubble, is because we knew that something great could come out of it. So
you were able to calculate the return on that risk?
yeah.
Because plus you knew we were watching. If you came back here and you had failed, I would have kicked.
Well, that's the other thing. You wouldn't be you wouldn't have me on your show if you screwed up your telescope.
Exactly.
Yeah, so we had
busted the mirror.
Failure wasn't an option in that case. So he goes, Neil would have been pissed. So yeah, these astronomers would have been really angry. So we couldn't fail on that one.
Well, so just talk about not risking. No humans have been out of low Earth orbit, much less have been to the moon, since 1972.
Yeah.
There's no new footprints anywhere outside of low Earth orbit. And I think we got a footprint. What do we have on the screen here? There it is. So it turns out that footprint is, one small step for man. That's Buzz Aldrin's footprint. That's not Neil Armstrong's footprint. That's Buzz. Now, I don't know how they all know that, because I bet their boots were pretty similar.
No way, Buzz would be like, mine were bigger. Any guy would, right?
So up next on StarTalk, we'll take your questions about the Apollo moon landing in the segment we call Cosmic Queries when we return. Welcome back to StarTalk. We devoted this whole program to the Apollo legacy in my interview with Apollo great Buzz Aldrin. And right now, it's time for Cosmic Queries. And in this segment, we have solicited questions from our fan base all throughout social media. I've never seen them before. If I don't know the answer, I'll just say I don't know the answer. Give me another one. But I got you to help me, Mike.
Okay.
So give it to us. Let's see what you got.
From Matt Eli in San Antonio, Texas, why do so many people refuse to believe in the moon landing?
Mike.
I think because it's such an amazing feat, we can't imagine that we actually did it. And that's the only thing I can think. But we did it.
I actually agree. I think what a testament to how far our science and engineering has come that people within our own culture are in denial of what those achievements actually are. That is an even greater testament to what the achievements have been. So I'm totally with you on that.
Those are both incorrect. No points
I forgot
awarded.
she's a game show host.
Next question is for Casio keyboard. Are you ready?
All right.
Okay. From Sir Matthew 42. Can you once and for all explain to the moon landing conspiracy theorists why the radiation belt didn't kill the Apollo astronauts?
Ooh, so did you go through the radiation belt?
We were. Where's
Wait,
Van Allen
have you
belts?
had kids since you?
No. I wonder why. Well, the radiation belt, and Neil's probably can explain this better than I can, but the radiation belt also protects us from radiation. It's when you get outside of the Van Allen belts where you're more exposed. So they were exposed once they got away from the Earth's protection of our magnetic field, but they luckily did not get zapped with anything too harmful.
Well, yeah. So if I add some nuance to that, so we have a magnetic field, and charged particles come from the sun, which would otherwise be dangerous to you, and they get directed to the poles, collide with our atmosphere, render it aglow into the aurora borealis and the aurora australis, the northern lights. So credit the sun for that activity. Now, if you go into orbit, go to the moon and come back, if you're on the moon and there's a solar flare, a mega solar flare, that's bad for you, right? So future missions to the moon, you want to time it for when the sun is not flare active, and the sun goes through cycles. So you know when it's at a low period, you're safer. The astronauts that went up back then, they were exposed to radiation, but it was not very much, and not all levels of all radiation are bad for you.
Not all radiation is bad for you.
Yes.
That is the correct answer.
Okay, what else you got? Okay. What do we win?
Yeah, what do we get now?
Keyboard. You said
The keyboard, Casio keyboard.
Okay.
All right.
From Nicole Brooks in Philadelphia. How would a Soviet manned moon landing have affected the course of the Cold War?
Ooh.
Ooh, hypotheticals.
They would have won, and it would have. I think it would have given them an edge, and maybe the Soviet Union might even still be around today.
Yeah, we might be calling it Philadelphia now, like with an accent.
You know what I think? I think had they done that, we would have said, no, the real race is who lands on Mars first.
Oh.
Yeah, we would have kept.
Dang it.
Yeah, see?
Man.
See, that's what I think we would have done.
wow.
All right, next one, go.
Last one. From Beautiful Dust Specks. If the funding and backing for space travel today was she meant to say equally relative to the funding of the Apollo program, what could be accomplished and what would you prioritize as the top objective? We're going to throw it to you, Neil.
Okay, so no, I wouldn't prioritize everything. I say make the whole solar system our backyard. And if we had that same funding, NASA's budget would be 10 times what it is today. 10 times. And at 10 times, the whole solar system is your backyard. We'd have condos on asteroids. Well, no, you wouldn't want to do that.
They're hard to catch.
No, I'm just saying. Are you vacationing to the moon, the Mars, or
You
beyond?
want to live in space so bad.
Oh, well, that's how it would be. If NASA's budget were 10 times what it is, and I wouldn't prioritize it. Let people prioritize where they want to go with whatever rockets they choose. It's not just one destination after another. Let space be the destination.
Nice. I would say we would send people to Mars, and I think also we would give us more opportunity to fund some of these commercial companies and give them a little more seed money, because once we get them creative and ways to make money, I think it's going to be some great accomplishments.
The sky's the limit.
The sky's the limit once that happens.
You got it. All right, when StarTalk continues, we're going to feature our regular segment with Bill Nye, the Science Guy, and we get his take on the legacy of the moon landings when StarTalk continues. We're back on StarTalk, featuring my interview with Apollo 11 astronaut Buzz Aldrin. This guy walked on the moon, and he's not done yet. He wants us to go to Mars, and I had to ask him about it. Check it out.
You know what ISRU?
Yes, loving it.
You do?
In situ resource utilization.
Right. Now, I had to talk to the
Which is fancy word for
new head of that.
when you go there, you can't bring all your supplies. Figure out how to live when you get there.
Now,
Extract water
if
from
I
the soil.
were to say what is the most important thing that we need for the future? Rocket fuel. To refuel rockets heading for Mars. If you can't do that, all of that has to be lifted up. Oh, is it so much more expensive in time and everything else?
You want filling stations throughout the solar system.
Well, we want one, certainly, with a fair amount of fuel.
I love it because you've been trying to lead the charge. Even the shirt you're wearing, okay? Get your ass to Mars. That is a brilliant shirt. Brilliant. I want to bring the rest of my body as well as my ass. He wants to go to Mars so badly that anytime NASA talks about going to the moon, he fights against it.
Yeah.
Even if that's like the next thing NASA wants to do, he don't care. He wants to go to Mars. All right, well, before we close out this show, as always, I got to catch up with my buddy Bill Nye, the science guy. And I'm told he gave his thoughts on the Apollo program while at the UN. And I said, what? I haven't seen it. I just heard this is a dispatch night times in the city from the UN. I got to check it out. Let's see.
Ladies and gentlemen, in 1967, as the race to the moon was really picking up speed, countries from all over the world came together and signed the Outer Space Treaty. In it, humans from all over the world agreed that no country, no one, could lay claim to a celestial body like the moon and claim it for his, her, or itself. Furthermore, the treaty holds that no one or country can interfere with any life we might find out there. This is the prime directive. I'm sure you or your friends are familiar with it. It's from Star Trek. Can't interfere. Brilliant. Now, it turns out that the prime directive is extracted entirely from the Charter of the United Nations. They both say, let's agree to prevent aggression, either military or biological. But the prime directive is the same idea writ on a cosmic scale. Back to you, Neil.
Cool. Bill Nye, the science guy. How did he get to give a speech at the UN? How did he?
I think you sneak in when no one else is around.
There's a back door.
I think that's what's what. Yeah.
That kind of
Slipped a security guard something.
Yeah, they didn't show the. They didn't show the.
No one there.
Yeah.
He went on a Sunday.
So what are your parting reflections, Eliza?
I think without dreamers, we would never get to outer space. So I think the more we can encourage people to dream, no matter how silly or stupid or insane it sounds, nobody's called crazy when they actually succeed at something.
Anyone who succeeds is never called crazy.
Yeah.
I like that. So Mike.
Yeah.
Yeah, give me something.
I think it's
the old
great.
Man who has been in space.
Yeah, I think it's great that you had Buzz on because he's really a national treasure. Only 12 people got to walk on the moon. 7 of them are still around, and it's great to have him featured like that. What they accomplished was great, but it was a blip, right? It happened. It was a long time ago. We went there and came back, and the next time we go, I think we should settle in a little more.
Settle in. You mean create a moon colony?
Yep.
Create a colony, settlement, place to hang out, research laboratory, whatever you want to call it. I think we should go and stay forever.
So when I think about all this and reflect, I think to myself, there's an outer space treaty for the peaceful use of outer space. So the goal is when we all go into space, we will treat one another kindly. And I don't have the confidence that others have in that. I want to believe it. But I say to myself, if you can treat each other kindly in space, then why not do that here on Earth? Why do you have to be in space to not kill one another? However, my one glimmer of hope is that so much of human conflict in the history of civilization has been derived from scarcity of resources and access to those resources. And I look at space, asteroids, comets, stars with limitless energy, and I realize, we should all realize, that space is a limitless supply of natural resources. Space may be the only place where peace is guaranteed because, in fact, we would have run out of all reasons for why to kill one another. You've been watching StarTalk here at the American Museum of Natural History, and I've been your host, your personal astrophysicist, Neil deGrasse Tyson. And as always, I now bid all of you not only farewell, but I require in life that you keep looking up.